Hi gamers, today I'm going to review Project Elite.
Let's check it out.
Hey, wait a minute. Okay, so looking at this board, you see it is massive. I can hardly even fit it and my camera here. But let's look. There's two sides of the board. This one actually that I'm showing you is the abandoned lab. The one I think I'm going to stick on is the alien crash site, because I don't see many videos out there that talk about the alien crash site, so we'll kind of go through here. As you see, there is a base here that your players will start at. I'll get to about what these search tokens mean. There's a number of rounds, as you see here, numbered 1 through 10. Also, there are some spawning ones, and you can't see it. There's a little bit of glare, and I don't know where that glare is coming from. But there are some places where you will spawn all the aliens, and what you do is you have these spawning tokens. At the very beginning, you're going to place out these spawning tokens. It doesn't matter. You can put them anywhere. I'm going to do 2, 1, and 3. And there are X's on the board that show you where the aliens are going to start. Now, there's some areas where line of sight is blocked, so you can't really shoot just anywhere, which I'll talk about in a minute. But right now in this map here, there's only two basic places where the spaceship crashed, it looks like. Across this score track here, what you're going to do is you're going to put a tracking marker to track each round that you play. So it would go right there on the red, as you see on the 1 there, and then move slowly. You got 8 rounds. Each round is 2 minutes. They're timed by a timer here. And then, of course, you have little boss and event tokens. That's what the B and the E stand for. And there are setup cards, and they'll let you know exactly where everything will go. So, for instance, looking at the setup cards here, green means easy, yellow means medium, red means hard. Yeah, of course, they have them for the abandoned lab here. Of course, we're doing the alien crash site, so I'm going to look at this. And an extermination, let's say it was 1 player, it would tell you first off where to put your objective tiles. You have tons of objectives in the game. You have extermination, recon, recovery. They have different symbols on them. I'll get to those in a minute. But it tells you, hey, where do we put these depending on how many players we're playing. And there's different numbers all over this board. X's is where you place them. So also it'll tell you where to put your bosses. You know, in this instance, they come out for round 3 and round 6. That's for however many players. In fact, the only thing that changes from easy to medium to hard is how many bosses and events, and probably the locations of your objectives there do change. So in that case, I would put a boss token on 3. I would put it just 1 up on that track. Now, if there was an event, I'd put it on the 2nd track here. And that's why I know when to do an event. Now, let me talk about all this. What is bosses? What do events mean? Let's go through that. First off, events. Events are always a bad thing. There's a deck of event cards. And whenever you come across a round, let's say it's round 4 now, I have to pull an event card. So I would pull this event card and bad things would happen. Aliens and characters block line of sight. Usually in this game, when you're shooting aliens, you can shoot over your friends, you can shoot through other aliens as long as they're in the line of sight there. But in this one, this special rule applies to where, nope, you can't do that unless you put dice here. Now, it depends on the number of players, and the red background says the dice stay there. You're thinking, Matt, what dice? Well, there's several dice you're going to be chucking in this game. These are the main dice. Each of these symbols mean different things. As you see here, we have a magnifying and a hand signal. So if I was to place a magnifying and our hand signal down in it, that's what it's looking for. Red symbols mean we have to move the alien. Wrench symbols could mean different number of things. Gun symbols are usually shooting. There they are, gun. And then you saw the running symbol means you can move. What you're going to do is you're just going to roll these dice over and over and over again until the 2 minutes are up, and then do exactly what they say. They also have some green die for shooting your gun. I'll talk about weapons in a moment. But again, if there's anything, and usually all events like this, if it has a red background in it, you must keep your die there, you know, till the end of your turn. After the end of the round, excuse me, the end of the round, after the end of the round, you can remove these dice. And if you've solved this, you've eliminated the event. So events are always nasty, not very good to have. Now, other things you can look for, as you see here on the board, there are these two red magnifying glass symbols. If you actually rolled a magnifying glass while you were in the base, you could actually plop it there for the end of the round. Once the round's over, pick it back up, and you get to choose either an item or a weapon card to use. So if you want another weapon or you want an item that may enhance your weapon or enhance your abilities in the game, it's your decision which one you want. And you can do that several times, as you see here and here, each round if you're staying at the base. You may want to complete your objectives, but anyway, so let's talk about the objectives. You're going to have to fight for these, and as you see, they're all red tokens here. I mean, red backgrounds, pardon me. And so whenever you roll that particular die, you're going to have to keep that die there for the rest of the round. Now, what happens if you don't fill out one of the objectives? You have to remove them all and start all over again. So it's very important to get your objectives done. And different things give you different rewards. For instance, extermination, if you blow this up, you get to pick an alien tech card, which is really good, has a lot of good weapons and abilities and whatnot for your character. But those are the kind of three different round, objectives you have in the game. Let's talk about the aliens in the game, and there's several minions here, or soldier aliens as they call them. You have shooters right here, biters right here, runners right here. Let's go into each one of these. First off, let's look at a shooter here. As you see, here's our little shooter. What he says is it hits a character within a range of 3 on a 4+. So if one of these guys in their turn and they are within 3 squares of one of the Marines, you have to roll one of these green die. And if you roll a 4+, your character gets a wound. And that's really bad because your character can only suffer 3 wounds before they die. Now, if you do die in this game, all you do is you come back into the game full of life, but with 1 less die to complete objectives and play the game, which really sucks. That's for the rest of the game. So you don't want to die in this game. Of course, when you die 2, 3, and you only have 1 more die and you die again, you're out of the game permanently, and actually your entire team loses the game. To read this card, if you say here, it says, okay, you need 3 of these aliens. This square here tells us how many aliens we need. So I would need 3 of these shooters, and I would put them where? Well, you remember our spawning tokens we put at the very beginning in the back there? I think I put 2, 1, and 3. Well, this one says put them out at 2. So I have to put 3 shooters in the 2 area. Now, before I do that, I need to see if they're going to move immediately or not. See this little foot token? If it's red, that means they're not going to move. If it's green, like maybe our next one is, then that means they would move immediately. But this guy's not moving until after the round's over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place 3 shooters right here on the 2 spot on each one of these X's wherever you want. Now, whenever you have to move them, like if ever you roll an alien move die token, you have to move them according to the arrows on the board. You may not can see them, but there's arrows. And you have to move them according to that way. Sometimes they give you a choice in either or, but you do have to move them in accordance to the arrows. You can't move them sideways or back or whatnot. You have to move them as the arrows state. And of course, you also can lose the game if an alien makes it back to your base, which is really bad. Speaking of really bad aliens getting into your base, runners are the main scare. I forgot to mention, each blood spot here tells you how many hits they are. Regular soldiers are usually just 1. But anyway, this runner here, this is what the runner looks like. He runs really fast. As you see, he hits the ground running. So when I place him on, oh no, which spawning token? Haha. In this case, I have to roll this red die, and it's a 6-sided die that has 1, 2, or 3 on it. And wherever I roll it, that tells me where I place them. I have a 2, 1, and 3 here, so I would roll it. It is a 2. Oh man, that's bad. That means they're going to push those aliens when they spawn there. And I have 2 of them, so let's see what would happen. So if I had 2 runners, and I placed them. I'd place one on this X, because I do have an X here, and go 1, 2. The other one I'd place maybe on this X. Now it pushes him 1, 2. So he got pushed out. Aliens can push each other. In fact, if the alien pushes into a Marine moves back. A Marine also loses a life if they get pushed by an alien, on top of all the bad things that could happen. So that can be very bad if you're in an alien's way and they start pushing you, because each Marine has 3 lives. 3 wounds, I guess they can take. And then, after that, they die and lose a die, as I said. But anyway, runners don't really attack you. They can run into you. but runners are super fast, so they can get in the base faster. The third type, I guess I should say, is a biter. As you see, it's a 1 as well. This is what the biter looks like. Let's see, make sure I can get that clear in there. It says it hits a character within a range of 1 on a 4. So if you're right in front of a biter, look, even their tail bites. Yikes. But if you're within 1 range of them, they get to roll that green die, and on a 4 plus, they bit you and you suffer a wound. Now, here again, we see that they're not moving once we place them on the board, but we don't know where we're placing them, so we got to roll that red die again to determine that. And then you have the green die. That determines, in this case, how many of them there are. So hopefully you do not roll a 6. Hopefully your rolls are a 1. But if you have my luck, they're always a 6. And then you have to roll that many, put them out, then roll here and put them out. Now usually cards aren't this big in depth, but sometimes you will see a card like this. Usually they tell you how many, they tell you where they're going to spawn, and they tell you, if they're going to move or not and how many spaces. At the end of every round, they're even going to move those spaces. They'll move 2 every round until they're dead, of course. Now, if you're a boss or a special alien, every time you're going to have to roll the red die to see where they go. But those are the 3 types of aliens that you can shoot with and play. Now, talking about special aliens, there are several special aliens they have in the game. They come as green here. Let me just kind of go through some of these. This guy here is really bad. He comes with a special rule. If you kill him, the round is over immediately. The 2 minutes are up. So you may want to kill him at the end, or if you need the round to end real quick, just kill him off. But once he's dead, the round immediately ends no matter what the time is. Another one, this dude's awful. He sucks away 10 seconds from your game time. So you would have to actually count down 10 seconds on here and then start the game at 150 for as long each round that he's in play. So if he ever comes in play, you probably want to get rid of him. The next one is the egg spawner. Another really bad guy. As you see, he has a little open area here. What you do is you just put one of the spawning tokens that I placed out, and you'll put it right here in his little basket. And he's going to move 1 across the board every round until he dies. For instance, if I was to put him here, I'd put the spawning token there, and he would move 1 every round. Now, when he dies, he goes away, but the spawning token becomes right there. As you see, it can be closer to your base, which is always a bad thing. So it may be in your best interest to kill him off quickly. Next up, we have someone like this guy who drips acid from his jaws every time he ends his movement at the end of a round. And these are little acid tokens. You see they say acid on there. See if I can get the clear. Yeah, there it is. Acid on it. And when you place them wherever he ends his turn, and so if he puts a movement there, and that's where he ended, that's maybe where he died too, you put one there, no character, no Marine can step on that square again. It basically blocks out that square for the rest of the game. So acid tokens, this guy, really, really mean dude. Another one would be this guy. This guy's super fast. He has a life of 4. A lot of these have more. It takes more than 1 kill to kill a lot of these guys. This guy you can kill 4. His card looks a little confusing because on the card it says, how fast he runs, has an X. He runs as fast as the lives he has. So the more you wound him, the slower he'll get. But he is a threat to get into your base. And finally you have this guy, I think he's called the Spitter. He's really bad too. He spits out slime everywhere, and how you determine that, they have a little D20 that you roll. You probably can't see it on the board because it's written in yellow here, but there's actually 20 spots here on the board where he can spit these slime tokens out, and a slime token is in the game. It says slime, and as you see here, there's slime right there. So for instance, if I was to put a slime token here and he had to move 1, well, that space doesn't count. He just slides to the next one. So that actually moves aliens faster. So the less slime on your board you have, the better, because these guys are, the slime's really bad. Now let's talk about some of the alien bosses. Alien bosses are in red, and alien bosses are always bad. They each have different abilities. They each do different things. They're hard to kill. Some of them have special, abilities. I think this one can move like 6 different aliens, an additional space, and so on and so forth. They'll tell you on the card. Now, if you ever kill one of these, you will get some alien tech that will appear on their spot, and if you pick it up, you can get, and it looks like that, and you can get one of these alien tech cards for killing a boss. That's another way you can score some alien tech. I think he spawns an additional alien whenever he's out. It's awful. This dude's really super powerful. This guy's really bad too, because whenever he dies, you're going to put a spawning token in his place. Let me see if I can get him. There it is. You can put a spawning token in his place. This is a spawning token here. It comes in the game. You just put it there, and you have to spawn an extra alien at that spot. So if he gets pretty close to your home base, you may be dead by then. Well, the game does come with several weapons you can use to shoot them aliens. Let's look at a few of them, and I'll tell you how you can read them. The Punisher gun. You see this one has a hand right here. It's a red die. So once you roll a hand, you place it there, it stays there for the entire round. After that, whenever you roll a gun token, you can fire this weapon. Now after you fire it, you must remove the gun the die from here, like the gun token white die here, and then re-roll again. You have to see if you can roll another gun to fire the weapon again. Now how to read this card? First off, this is range. As you see, its range is a 1. So you have to be basically right in front of the alien. Now sometimes they'll say range 2, 3, 4, you know, depending. And you can actually upgrade the range through various items as well. But this one can only shoot 1. This one shows how many green die you can roll during that shoot. So this may say 1, 2, 3, or 4. Again, it says only 1, so I can only roll 1 green die. And if I get a 3 or plus, that's what tells me how many wounds I can get. You can adjust any of these. I can upgrade it to make it more than 1 die I roll, or make this target even lower than 3, if that's, you know, that'd be awesome, you know. But this red symbol, see this red box on this one? It means I cannot upgrade the range. Now, not all cards are like this. A lot of cards you can upgrade range. Some you can upgrade how many dice you throw. Some you can upgrade the hit point thing. It just depends on the weapon. So each weapon in the game, there's several weapons, they're all different. Let me show you another one. This one says it can shoot infinity, you know, so you don't even really have a range. You can only shoot 1 die. It's a 4 plus to hit, and you must have a gun and a magnifying glass together at the same time to fire the weapon. So it's a little harder to fire this weapon than it would be another one, but you got that infinity range, a little nice hit point there, that may be worth it. The other type symbol they have here, as you see, they have a slash, an end or. So I can either roll a gun or a hand and roll the die. It's a 5 or plus to kill, so that's even harder. That kind of sucks, but it should be easier to fire the weapon. And like I said, of all the weapons in the game, they are all different. They all do different things. Like this one, you can't upgrade anything on it. Look at that. This one, you can't make that any lower. You know, so like I said, you just have to read the guns. Some of these guns are just incredible, the stuff that they give you for it. Items, of course, boost things. They give you certain things. This one gives you armor. That one boosts your range. Just various things. This one lets you carry an extra gun. Usually you can only carry 2, but this one can have you carry a 3rd one. Jetpack. You can move anywhere on the board. I love the jetpack. I think there's a med pack in here too. It must be up on, there it is. There's a med pack too. You can even heal yourself if you have all 3 and then discard it after use. So items help you out, weapons help you out, and defeating the alien scum. And of course alien tech, same way too. As you see here, they have different symbols on them. Whether red or white tells you if it's permanently on the card for the round or not. Now I've been talking about the aliens, I've been talking about the weapons and the items. What about the Marines you're fighting? There are several Marines you're fighting here. You can be any one of these. You get to choose, you get to pick your poison, in fact, of which one of these you want to be. So let me just go through these one at a time. I'll bring their characters up. This is actually my wife's favorite one, Lila or Lila. It says you have 5 prevent alien move tokens at the beginning of each round, and you may spend a token to ignore alien move symbols that you rolled. So remember those on the die, the red symbol there makes an alien move. Lila has these little tokens, and let me show you one here. It has her face on them, and you put them on your card. Every time you roll an alien symbol, if you don't want to move an alien, just flip it over, so you don't have to move that alien that round. Like I said, the missus really loves this character. That's her favorite one. She always plays as Lila. But anyway, there are some other characters here, and I think they're all great. You got Sarah Mercy here. She's kind of the doctor. It says after your action, you may use your action slot, which is right here. It's a permanent, die for the round only. It says you can heal yourself or another character within range. She is very necessary because you can get injured a lot. It can be really bad if your character dies. So if you have Sarah Mercy, she can heal herself, or she can heal someone right next to her, give them all their life back. Now, what if you've already died once and you get healed again? Does that mean you get all 4 of your die back? Because if you died once, you're only rolling with 3 die. And what if Sarah heals you? Do you get 4? No, that's not in the rules. You have to stay with just 3. But if she can get to you before you die, she can avoid that nasty incident for you. So Sarah Mercy, definitely a worthy character to play. Another character, this is one of the first characters I played with when I got this game in, was Rob Cart. Rob Cart can use his action slot to search for weapons and items. So you see here, we can search for weapons and items if we're at the base. What if I'm out here shooting around, I'm thinking, man, I really should have gotten a better weapon, or I need another item. Well, Rob Cart, I just put the magnifying glass on his card at the end of the round and pick it up and grab an extra weapon or item. So Rob Cart, to me, for that reason, is very good to have in this game. Very awesome Marine. The next one's Momentum. A lot of people online, I hear, love this guy. He's their favorite guy because each time you roll a movement on the die, which is the green running man, you get to move 2 instead of 1. Everyone loves speed. I love speed too, so Momentum's a great guy. I haven't played with him that much, just a couple of times, but I know online everyone plays with Momentum because they love moving fast on the board. So if you do love moving fast, he's the guy for you. I've played him before. If I ever got stuck playing Momentum, I wouldn't be upset. I think Momentum's a great guy. It's just I haven't played with him as much in the game. Caress, one of the first guys I played with when I was at Gencon playing for the first time. Caress, whenever you kill an alien within 1 range, you may immediately move on that space. That's really good because I can move up and fight an alien. After I defeat the alien, I can move up again. He's almost like Momentum, except he gets a bonus when he's killing people. So I kind of like Caress. I don't know. I like them both, but Caress, I think, is a really cool Marine to have. And then finally, you have Bus. He was probably the most popular guy to play with at Gen Con. I wanted to play with him, but everyone picked Bus. Because on Bus, you don't lose a life when an alien pushes you. Remember I told you, if an alien pushes you back, your character will lose a life. You only got 3. But if you're Bus, he can push him back to Kingdom Come. It won't hurt him. Now, Bus isn't immune to bites or, shots or anything else, weapons, attacks by aliens. But if they push on him, then he's fine with that. So Bus is a great defensive guy. Actually, any of these Marines you pick, you're not going to lose. I would encourage you, though, if you bought the game, to at least try each one of them once. Now, how a round goes. Of course, you're going to roll these die for 2 minutes. You're going to be moving aliens. You're going to be firing your weapons. But you got to keep going till the time's up. Now, when the time's up, it's just like the buzzer beater. Let's say everything was beeping and I rolled. Well, I actually have to do those movements. So I have to move 2 aliens. I can move myself, have a gun token. So if that's enough to shoot a gun, I can fire a gun if I wanted to. But once that beeper's up, whatever dice are on the board, that's it. You can't roll anymore, can't move anymore. This round's about to end. Now, they give you these little cards to kind of tell you what the round overview is for each round. You can give one out to each player if they want to know. But practically after you're playing this game a million times, you're going to figure it out on your own. First thing you're going to do is activate any alien abilities. So like if there's a person 3 within him, he's going to fire at him. Or maybe if there's someone's in range of a biter, the biter's going to roll to bite. After that, you're going to move them. Remember, biters move 2, they would move 2. Shooters move 1. Runners move 3. 1, 2. He's going to push that guy and go 3 here. And then, of course, once you've moved all the aliens, you'll respawn for more aliens, move the marker tracker up, reveal a boss on top of the how many aliens you reveal. And the game tells you, depending on how many players, depends on how many aliens spawn each turn. But every once in a while, you may have to spawn an additional boss with that. Or you may have to spawn an additional event. And of course, at the end of 8 rounds, if you haven't achieved your goal, you lost. If an alien gets to your base, you've lost. And if one of you permanently die, meaning you have one die left and you die it again, that's how you lose. You win if you complete your objective and make it back to the base in time before the 8 rounds are over. And that's the game. Well, that was a little bit of a lengthy review, but there's so much to this game that I felt I had to be as thorough as I could. Project Elite. Mrs., what do you think about Project Elite?
There's very few games that I do like to play, but this is one of them. This is probably my top game of the year.
Wow! Really?
I love it.
Wow, okay. She means there's very few games that she likes to play of mine.
Yes, I would say that.
She has her own board game collection that she loves to play. She'd play any of those games, but there are very few of mine that cross over. In fact, off the top of my head, I can think of 3 other ones. So that Project Elite made it onto that esteemed list. I was very pleasantly surprised because this was the best game I played at Gencon, and it's a fantastic game. I don't really like dice rolling games. In fact, I think I have one other one in my collection, and that's it. So I'm not really that big on dice rolling, but this just trumps it all. It's so easy to learn. We talked about while we were playing, we must have played it. I've had this game for about a month now, and we must have played it like a million times. Every scenario, we beat it on easy, all the levels on easy, right? And we beat a lot of them on medium. Now that doesn't mean the game is easy. There have been some times we have died fast and poorly. I think one was after the first round or something.
It was your fault.
Okay, anyway, but Project Elite is a super fun game. I know people say online they can beat it solo. I can't. Maybe I'm doing something wrong on solo. I am rolling with 5 die. You get a 5th die if you play solo. But for some reason, I just can't win ever on solo. So, I don't know. But other than that, Project Elite, lots of cool miniatures. The dice are also color-coded too. I just kind of noticed that. I was like, oh, you know what? After a while, yeah, the hand is yellow, the face is red, the gun is black, the magnifying glass is blue, the running man's green. So that kind of all makes sense, and the wrench is gray. So it's really easy to pick up and play. I mean, it didn't take you that long at all, did it?
No.
No, I think after the second game you had it down.
Yeah.
She's actually really good at her rolls too, let me tell you.
I'm only one character.
Yeah, her favorite characters I told you in the review. That's the only one she'll ever play. But I'll be honest, all the characters are really fun. I do encourage someone to play all the characters just to get used to them. Not just play Momentum, which is a very popular one online. For folks who want to buy this, at the point of this video, it's not available in the US. Kickstarter people should have just gotten theirs now. I got this online on the secondary market. I asked the designers if they would let me buy a copy from them to review myself, and they politely told me no. It's okay. I'm not Tom Vassell or some other big name like that, so I understand why. So I went ahead and bought it on the secondary market, which is the only way you can get it right now, like eBay or the Board Game Geek Marketplace. Now, when will it come out? I'm saying 2017, maybe later. The Kickstarters are out and there's still nothing, no distributor yet. Anyway, with the chair out of the way so you can see the stupid game, it's a really good game. You should get it when it comes out, if it ever comes out. I don't know if they were prepared maybe that it would be such a big success, but to be honest, it's probably, well, I know it's in my top 10. It probably is in my top 5 games of all time. I mean, that's how really good a game this is. All right, anything else to add, Mrs.?
No.
All right, gamers. So until next time.
Game on.